All right, Zinzi, maybe give us another big story that we should be looking out for on the Standard or on the dailies.
Exactly, Michael. Well, on page 4 of the Standard this morning, Deputy President William Ruto has pledged about 33 billion Kenyan shillings for water roads in Coast Tour. Now, here's the thing. The World Environment Day is one of the most important dates for the UN because that's when they encourage people around the world to be more aware and take action when it comes to protecting the environment. And it began back in 1974. It has grown to become a global platform for public outreach that is widely celebrated in over 100 countries. The main story here is that not only will this money go into empowering the area with water, but more so a dam will be created. This is more so Ukanda, now the area. But apart from that, because this is also a big lesson that we've learned as a nation, is moreover, a primary school within the area will be relocated in the next 2 months to pave way for the upgrade of Ukanda airstrip into the airport. So about 500 million Kenyan shillings has been set aside for extending electricity connections under the last mile program in Kwale County. Michael.
All right, and yeah, just a slight correction there. It's Ukunda, not Ukanda, but I guess you've been watching too much of Wakanda.
The influence is big.
The influence is real, so maybe it is Wakanda that is coming up there. But especially with 33 billion pledge, it could be a Wakanda coming up. But anyway, World Environmental Day, which was yesterday, and let me start with you, Jane, on matters environment and looking at where we are as a country. It is a day that was commemorated worldwide, but do we have much that we can say about our environment, especially given that we are in a day and age of global warming, and I'm not sure we are quite aware of the damage that we may be doing to ourselves if we're not careful or if we're not well informed?
I think the damage is already there. You could see what the floods did to us, and that is because we've cut all our trees, and we've not really cared about our forests, knowing that these are some of the things that would help in protecting us from the ravages of weather. And for me, it's really about going back to making the community plant more trees, understanding that when you cut a tree, why don't you even plant another tree? And when you cut trees and you don't replace them, you leave the soil exposed to erosion. And in the end, the damages are great. And I remember yesterday there was a lot of conversation on social media, on the internet, about the environment and banning of plastics, which is the theme that they were using. For once, I was happy that Kenya is ahead of other countries because Kenya has already banned use of plastic material for packaging. But my worry was, how do we stop cutting down of even indigenous trees? Because nowadays you will hardly find indigenous trees around. Mostly they are the exotic species, and these are the ones that you find falling on cars, because they don't go deep into the ground. They are very weak. Their roots are very weak, and they fall on buildings, they fall on cars, they fall on people. So for me, it's really about which is the best species of trees that we can grow. How can we better protect our environment? When you travel along Nakuru-Kisumu highway, you'll find that most of that forest has been cut down. From Limuru towards Naivasha, and also after Nakuru, as you're headed towards the junction of Molo, the forests have been destroyed. And you meet trucks carrying really big trees. How can we ensure that we are protecting what we already have? Because that is what will help us, and that is what will save us from the ravages of climate change that we are experiencing.
Mheshimiwa, your thoughts on World Environment Day and how much progress we're making as a country in realizing the importance of preserving our environment?
Well, it's an important day for awareness, to create awareness of the threats that we face. And if we don't do something very quickly about it, how we're going to perish as a country, as a community. And I think environment should be a top priority both for the government and for the public. As has been mentioned, our forests are shrinking, and we're heading towards a situation where parts of our country are going to be turned into deserts, less water, less resources, not enough food to feed our population. And therefore, it is a wake-up call for us to start rolling back that damage that has been done. We have an opportunity to be able to roll it back, and I'm glad that the government has now embarked on a tree planting campaign. And I hope that the new Minister of Environment would be at the front to make sure that, in fact, the targets that we have set for planting as many millions of trees as possible are met. I think banning plastic was a good step, but it will be purely meaningless. You know, banning plastic is meaningless if we cannot put into place other measures and take other actions to correct the damage that has been done, to ensure that, in fact, we live a better and healthier life in the future, we live a better country.
All right.